welcome to our 10-minute back care Pilates class. Super quick little sequence that you can do just to help check in and look after your back and your spine. So we're going to start off standing and we're going to come into the Pilates roll down, which is a great way to get the back moving and just start to warm and stretch up the whole body. So feet just a little bit wider than together, so they're roughly in line with the hips. Maybe give your shoulders a little roll, a little shake out, just so you feel like you're ready, standing in your space, and then breathe in at the top. Breathe out, drop your chin, and just start to roll down towards the floor. Curling down towards the mat, just coming as far down as you feel you can, maybe taking a nice bend in the knees. Breathe in, let the head hang, stretching the spine, and then breathe out. Tailbone tucks under, bottom tucks under, and we just try to round and stack all the way back up to standing. Good. So breathe in again at the top. And then when you're ready, breathe out. Drop the chin to the chest, round back down all the way to the floor, seeing how far you can go without bending the knees. But just bending the knees whenever you feel ready. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Tuck the tailbone under the bottom number. Squeeze the lower muscles of the belly in. So we're thinking about drawing the belly button up into the back of the rib cage. Rounding all the way back up to standing. So we're going to do that just 3 more times. Breathing in, taking it down. Maybe it gets a little bit easier to roll down without bending the knees. So we might find we get a stretch in the leg, somewhere in the back. And we're just slowly thinking of stacking everything up through the spine back up. Standing. Breathe in at the top. And then breathe out. Take it back down. So we're going to take one more, and this time we're actually going to come down towards the floor and stay there. So breathe out, drop the chin to the chest, round down towards the mat, and then walk your hands out when you get there. Keep a nice big bend in the knees, and come into that tabletop position, and we're going to take our cat stretch. So finding some rounding and arching at the back then. So you're breathing out, rounding up. Breathing in, tailbone and shoulders and chest working the other way. Go for one more. And then see if you can bring your spine back so it feels like it's somewhere in the middle of those 2 movements. Tuck the tailbone under. Think of drawing your core in and up into the back of the rib cage again. And then just hover the knees. So we're firing up the core then now, those muscles in and around the trunk area just to hold us here. Good. Drop the knees back down towards the floor. Sit back a minute. Give the wrists a little bit of a shake out. And we're going to do that one more time. Tuck the toes under. Squeeze everything in. So we're in round, just maybe a little tuck under, a little round of the back as the belly draws in. And then hover the knees. Keep squeezing the belly in. Don't let the knees drop to the floor. then take the knees all the way down and come to lie face down on the floor. So we're lifting the chest and getting the back muscles working. So we're going to start with the arms by your side, and you could be in a V or an L shape with the arms. It just depends on what feels comfortable with the shoulders. So when you're ready, breathe in, float the arms up a little way off the floor, and see if you can use your muscles in your back to take your chest a little way up off the floor, and then breathe out, lower down. So we're doing that again. Breathe in, float the arms a little way, lift the chest up off the floor, and then breathe out lower. So we can start to use the arms to help us get a little higher. So breathe in, see if you can still feel the muscles in the back peel you up, so don't really have any weight in the arms. And then when you feel like you can't lift up any higher, then we can take the weight through the arms and the hands, lift up, breathe out lower. So maybe we never get the elbows up off the floor. We might just be there for a little bit of support. Lower down, like I say, you can have the arms wider. It might be forearms stay on the floor there, or we come all the way up. And if at any point you start to think, are my back muscles working, or am I using my arms? Just float the arms up and pop the hands back down, lift up that little bit higher and lower down. And as ever with all of these exercises, we're only ever doing as much as we feel we can manage. So if you kind of think, no, that is me down on this one, then just stop and rest. We're still going. We are trying for one more. So lower all the way back down towards the floor. And we're going to come back to a child's pose. Bring your hips back towards your heels. Or maybe they're going to come in a little bit closer and support the head. Can do it with fists one on top of each other as well. That can be even more comfortable to support the head if it doesn't naturally rest on the floor. And then push yourself all the way up and round so that we can come on to your back. So bring your hands around to the back of the head. As you then breathe out, draw the belly into the spine and push your lower back in towards the floor. So you just maybe feel a little bit of a roll up of the tailbone and then release it. Breathe out. Press the lower back into the floor. See if you can just feel that little lift of the tailbone. And we're just going to keep on with that movement, and then maybe as we squeeze down, we feel like we can also just take the head up off the floor. Slowly with control, breathe it down, and it all comes from just pushing the lower back in towards the floor. So we stretch the lower spine, and then maybe we can float. So it's not a big crunch, it's not a sit-up, it's just a bit of flattening, pressing, rounding through the back as we squeeze and round, just as we were in our cat stretch. The rest of the body moves into a little bit of a C shape too. If it's just the tailbone going, then that's fine. It's just the tailbone rolling up and down. It's a good way of also just firing up those deep core muscles. So think of scooping them in and up towards the back of the rib cage. We're aiming for 2 more. And then relax all the way back down to the floor. Open the arms out, and we are finishing with a twist. So just let the knees and the feet walk in a little bit closer together, And then we breathe out, roll the knees to one side. Just see as far they'll come down. They don't have to come all the way to the floor. Breathe into the middle. And then breathe out, take them the other way. Breathe in, back to the middle. So maybe they get a little bit further each time, maybe eventually knees coming to the floor. But we've got our feet down, so there's no strength here required to support the legs. It's just moving the back, twisting through the vertebrae and then stretching the muscles out from side to side. So we're aiming to keep the shoulders down towards the floor. We can have a little roll of the head. That can roll from side to side, and it can be the same way as the knees or the opposite. There's no right or wrong here. But that does just give us a little bit of movement through the upper part of the spine into the neck as well. So we're aiming just for 2 more twists then to each side. And then roll back into the middle and just pull the knees up in towards your chest. We can hook around the back of the knees. Maybe that feels a little bit awkward and you can't quite reach. You can always just grab a scarf, anything that you've got, rolled up towel. You can just put underneath your knees and use to pull the knees in towards the chest. And then you're just feeling a little bit of a release here as the back relaxes on the floor. You can rock or take little circles with the knees here. That can feel quite nice as well because it helps to massage the back a little bit, just rolling it across the floor. And then when you're ready, roll all the way around onto one side so that you can push yourself up to sitting. And we're going to come round back onto our hands and knees position. Tuck the toes under, walk the hands back in towards the knees if you can, pushing the weight onto your feet. Otherwise, find any way that you need to bring yourself around. So you've got your feet on the floor. We can just let the head hang. Nice little bend in the knees and then breathe out. We're finishing that roll up, which took us to the floor earlier as we come all the way up to standing. Take a breath in, stretch the arms up, and then breathe out. Relax the hands down by your side. Fantastic. I hope you enjoyed that and you felt that your back has had a good stretch. You felt it really get mobilised and moving, and maybe brought in a little bit of strength in that trunk area as well, just to give it a feeling of support. If you've got any comments or questions, then obviously ask them below. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you would like to join me on the mat again on another day, then make sure you hit the subscribe button now so that you know when my next class comes out. All right, see you then. Bye.